What if there was a way to just farm one thing, one cavern, and you can build 90% of the entire game? I'm saying any character, you name it, this set is going to be good for. Honkai Star is a game where if you boil it down, it's a game about beating your enemies fast, beating your enemies safely. Living in plain sight is Dance Dance Dance, where you just never will have enough of it. It is the best Lightcone of all time. The simple reason is that it gives you action advance, and since this is a turn-based game, getting a whole turn for free is detrimental to the system. It just breaks it. That is why DDD is cracked, that is why Robin is cracked. But here at the Whole Universe Balancing team, we ask the hard questions. We ask the world, why should we stop there? You see, when we take a look at the relic sets that we have, they're element-based sets which boost your element damage, but if you look at their 4-piece set effects, most of them gives you means to increase your damage output. Except one. So we just push ourselves up, turn-based game by the way. That allows us to take a turn that we usually would never. Do enough times, then face Yao here laps the whole field and it's our turn again. Yeah, this should just work on every character, no? Like, who doesn't want more turns? And of course, the set I'm talking about is the win set. After spending a few months farming just for the win set, I managed to turn the likes of huohuo, which is the best healer support in the game, into a quarter of a Robin. The idea is that if huohuo gets more turns, you get more ults, which means more energy. The fact that you can heal that much anyway does kind of mean you don't even need any specific 4-piece set that's not the win set, so why not just use the win set anyway? You just get yourself more turns in a turn-based game. The logic of it means you're beating stages faster. So I'm running huohuo with a win set here. Every ult I do is basically like a tiny dance for only huohuo, and honestly the experience is going good so far. Like, ooh, just getting enough action here to cut and activating her Lightcones attack buff more. That's like pretty handy. I mean, it's not that big a deal though. You can kind of get an option to just say, I want my turn right now. And yeah, you just get your turn if you actually advance enough, right? But ooh, yeah, I forgot she kind of has that problem, huh? Same old, huohuo is a gremlin that needs skill points for you to use. Getting her more turns in a turn-based game is good, but well, I mean, for the most part, everyone will love more turns in a turn-based game. But skill points are the limiting factor for a lot of the turn abuse system that we can figure out in this game. Well, mostly just for older characters anyway. Here at Whole Universe Balancing team, we know your bullshit. If we made it so easy, then the game wouldn't even be a turn-based game anymore if you can just have Sela take 6 turns in a row and one-shot everything. So we made it a bit harder. And by that, I mean to achieve the same effect of taking 6 turns and just ruining everyone's life, you just have to pull the better and newer Sela. Just gotta get a Glaya. So the problem we had before was huohuo needs a lot of skill points herself, but with this team, I'm pretty sure we have just way too many skill points anyway based on experience. So we also have way too much turns on the Glaya that somehow doesn't need any skill points at all to use. Sela literally in shambles. And yeah, after letting it run a little, you just see we are actually using quite a lot of skill points, even for this team, just because huohuo took more turns, but we're gaining just enough back. So huohuo here is able to push herself without any detriments, and taking more turns mean more energy for the whole team, and you know how OP energy is for someone like Glaya. But how does the win set compare to the normal build though? That's a good question, me. I'm just talking to myself a lot making these videos. So I prepared 2 teams. One with the normal build on huohuo and Sunday, another with a full win set build on both of them. I mean, that's the point of the video anyway. I think win set, like 90% of everybody just wouldn't mind it. So let's put it on Sunday as well. Their stats are as close to each other as I can make them. And if win set here can even match or heck perform better, then I won't lie, you could just farm win set for the rest of your life. And you know that you can build down near any character in the game and you would still benefit solely because action advancing in a turn-based game, that's pretty busted. Alright, full win set on huohuo and Sunday, where then we'll see 12. With the win set, I can kind of make huohuo take the turn here first, just to squeeze out a bit more attack buff from the Lightcone, but again, not that big of a deal. It's good though, right? And while both sets ended up clearing the first wave at damn near the same time, but the boss wave though should be interesting. We came in with Sunday's ultimate, which actually pushed him ahead of the enemy boss here, right before Glaya. Now, without the win set, you just don't get this turn with Sunday, and the boss gets to hurt you first early, and it's a pretty notable difference for a turn-based game when the boss takes a whole turn first, and considering with like recent bosses, the newer bosses, when they take a turn, they're gonna hit you hard with a lot of animations to boot. But yeah, with the win set, I managed to pull the good old Glaya turn into Sunday, pushing Glaya for another turn again, which actually slows down this boss just enough to get huohuo the turn, gaining enough energy to ult and getting herself very close to the end of Robin's ult here. Like, that's pretty sick, no? Well, Robin's ult ends, and within the next 6 action values, we get huohuo and Sunday. Without that, you kind of have to wait for the boss to take a turn, and then you get huohuo's turn. And you know, this boss, he does a lot of damage if he does take a turn. So yeah, by controlling the turns well, I waited for huohuo and Sunday's turn, which gave Ugly a bunch more turns, and then activated Robin's ult. Legit, we're just maxing out every action we can get for extra turns here. We squeezed just enough damage to finish the first phase of the boss. Like, this is just a power of action advancing, right? Taking a turn when you're not supposed to take a turn, but you just do. It is just too awesome, man. From then on, we managed to end the boss within this cycle, mostly just by gaining turn after turn and pair the extra ultimate amount from huohuo. That just meant more ults for everybody, more action advance, and we finished the fight in 1 cycle. Now we take a look at the run without the win set. I won't lie, the whole fight doesn't change too much until right, or it should change when huohuo starts to get their ultimate. Obviously, we don't get the action advance. Just so happens though, we have the MLC buff that recharges energy this week. Huohuo does get even more ult usage, so I would expect more changes, right? From step 1 here, a slight difference, you know, with win set, we managed to like put 1 more stack above with the Lightcone on the Glaya. Did not get that here, but in the end, it doesn't change too much here actually, because Robin just did the ult. We're both at 0 action value. We didn't really waste nothing too big, yeah? And that is exactly why the first wave ended up very similarly to the previous run, but the big difference here is most certainly in the second phase, where the boss was able to take a turn first before entire Sunday pushing in a Glaya combo got through. Things did get a bit less ideal, but I think for the most part, because huohuo heals enough anyway, we're still just chilling, and thankfully, the stage was just not too hard for us, but we're just dumping 1.3 million damage for 0 skill points. Very imbalanced character, dude. And yep, we managed to beat it a few turns like slower, not that big of a deal. So yeah, although we're slightly slower, but honestly, it's not that big of a difference that you have to go for that set. But it's just to say, yo, we put win set on 2 characters, not even their best set, but it still worked out anyway. And here are some of the stats for both runs. The point of the video is obviously to just showcase turn manipulation, and it is also an MLF for the win set cavern. Haha. Obviously, there's no need to force yourself to farm that instead. Not to mention, there are still some characters that have no use for the win set effect at all. But if you really think about it, the point is they wouldn't mind it that much anyway if the substats are great. Like, yeah, they waste the freaking actions, but you can probably still beat any stages around the same amount of clear time, which is why this win set is just unironically the most usable set of all time. Like, anyone probably just wouldn't mind this set, dude. Which uniquely doesn't help you do more damage. It gives you some sort of a utility. Like, every other elemental sets have it, like it boosts your damage somewhat, but this one, it's just this one that stands out on its own as the most versatile set in Honkai Star Rail. Obviously, you don't put this set on like Aglaya. That's why I say it's 90% of the game you could build with this set, not 100%. Simple reason being, Aglaya gets a free turn with the ult. There's no need for action advancing. There were runs that I tried before that use Brute Hill on win set, Pella on win set, Bronya on win set, all just to get that extra turn that you never should have gotten, and that's gonna allow you to further get the rest of the team the turn through maybe DDD or through maybe Robin. It's kind of like a skill-based set. If you mess it up though, you may push your Sunday over your DPS and you basically lose a turn. There's also the part where you can get more turns, but you also need to use more skill points. There are a lot of speed tuning to do, but the act of testing your turn order under which speed is the charm that made me fall in love with turn-based games. It's what makes Star Rail fun. But yeah, next time, don't know what to farm, get yourself a win set. And hey, get yourself some entertainment. It's this vid right here. Absolute banger. So yeah, just click that. Yes.